All right. So Big P and Big E is going at it. You know what I don't understand about Big P? You know, the person that's all
Big
over
P.
the world. Big
Pause.
P. The person you let into the White House is not even from the US, but you want to throw immigrants and put them out. And now you mad because he's going against you and your bill? Man, please. And DDG, let me tell you this, bruh. You missed it by a second. You know why? Never let the woman get to the court first. We'll talk about that and more, all on Another Mother, episode 22.
Yeah.
When I fly into the sea, somebody finding their seats. What do they say? When I fly into the sea, somebody finding their seats. What do they say? Hey, would you like coffee, tea, or me? Coffee, tea, or me? Coffee, tea, or me? Coffee, tea, or me?
Wait,
That's it.
no,
That's
get your
it.
coffee, get your tea, get your love. My name is Lisa Renee, and this is
The big black ant, wild ant Weezy from North Heezy, California.
and we are Another Mother Poddio.
Hey, another
Hey,
mother patio.
here we
Hey,
go. I bring the
I
zen.
bring the dopamine.
Create the zen.
I bring the dopamine.
Create zen.
I bring dopamine.
Create zen.
I bring the dopamine.
We Another Mother Patio. Hey, here we go. Because I know y'all ready to get it. So let me apologize. I don't have much of a voice. So I got a hot toddy. And if you know what's inside of a
Yes,
hot toddy, I'm
sir.
about to show my assets today. Let me see.
It ain't no hot toddy for no
Ah,
reason.
I said,
Hot
let me
toddy.
step that jack.
Hot toddy. Yeah, well, get the toddy, but got that body. Hot
Ah, good old
toddy.
Jack. Good old Jack number seven that they roast in the barrel. All does the trick. Okay. Okay,
From
the
Louisville,
Jackie.
Kentucky, for all my peoples that's from
Yes, the
Louisville,
Jack in
Kentucky.
Tennessee, though. Jacket. We
No,
feeling
Jack is Tennessee. I'm sorry. I'm thinking
Jack.
bourbon from my Kentucky folk. I'm sorry.
That's the other one. That's
Sorry,
what we
Tennessee. You right.
know
You
because hot
right.
toddy can be made with a bourbon and whiskey, guys. But I've been fighting this cold for about 4 days now. And finally, we were able to come on. So we do apologize that we are late. But guess what? We still going to be consistent and we're going to give you the news. So let's get into Big P.
Wow.
Okay. Ace, do you want
Wow.
to take it or you want me to go and take it? I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
uninterested.
go ahead, start it, because
Excuse me.
yeah.
Yeah. So as y'all know on Twitter right now, oh, let's call it X for
I'm
what it
sorry.
is.
X,
The boyfriends are going at it.
X,
Okay.
the
The
boyfriends,
girl,
the boyfriends.
that Tony, that Jack,
That's wonderful. Oh man, I wish I would have thought of that. I'm
the
jelly of
Jack
that one.
got me right. The
The
girls are at it
boyfriends.
again.
That is classic. Oh man, that's awful. I mean, that's awesome. Woo,
And
that's
you
great.
know, the thing about it is that Elon has a problem with the bill. But what's so saddened to me, and that he didn't have a problem with all these other bills. You guys have quickly signed these bills. You have raided people. So many people are out of work. Air traffic control is impacted.
Man,
Where planes they're going black and people can't see because people are being let off irresponsibly. And then the band-aid we put on it, well, these weren't really, major jobs or big jobs. Every job is important to people,
word,
whether they are a clerk, whether they are an actor, whether they work at the freaking zoo or a
word,
museum.
word.
Everybody jobs are important. And you guys have cut these jobs. And now, Big E, the only reason why you have a problem with this bill is because it's cutting your already rich pockets.
That's it.
But you didn't care anything about all these people who had families and lost their daggone jobs, did we? And listen to me, Big P. If you thought for 1 minute that this man had your back, I'm
Man,
here to tell you, you's a fool. He
man,
used you to get all the information and knowledge about you because now he can dangle you. And that's what he's doing right now. He's going to
literally.
be the one. See, you met your match. You met your match. And he about to tell all your secrets. See, you were so desperate to win. You were so desperate to win, and let's call a spade a spade. You would not be in that office if it was not because of him.
Facts.
And now the minute he left, because he probably really didn't want to leave, he don't care no more because he got everything he needs on you. And if you think for a minute, because I understand y'all trying to deport him and do all this stuff, if you think for a minute he is not going to let the beans out, you are sadly mistaken. This man has no loyalty to you, to Big T. He has no loyalty to you at all. And he never has, to be very real. He was just trying to become more powerful. So he used you. If you didn't know that, we know that as the mass public. He used you. And the minute that you did something to hurt him, even though I know you said he saw the bill, and even if he did saw the bill, he played real coy because he knew that he had another plan. See, now he's taking his space, aeronautics, and all those type of things and taking them elsewhere now. He played you. He played you, Big P. He played you. And I'm going to be real honest, ain't none of us feeling sorry because so many people have been hurt and been impacted by both of y'all decisions. And let me tell you, I wasn't even mad that you got in office. I ain't vote for you. And I have a right as an American to vote for whoever I choose to vote. I don't vote for people that treat people unkind. I just don't do it. I think you're a smart and a brilliant person in business and certain type of things. But far as a human, kind person and there for everybody and not just themselves, I'm always going to lean to a person that way. Do I feel like Kamala had some stuff? Absolutely. But who doesn't? We're all human at the end of the day. But in this case, he played you. But I'm hoping, Big P, I'm hoping because you're a smart man, you knew that he was playing you. And because of that, there were some things that maybe I hope that you kept secret. Because if you didn't, this war is about to go bigger than any of us can expect, guys. Pay attention to the news. Don't be so worried about this, that, and all these little stupid things. I'm telling you, pay attention to the news because what they're doing right now can impact all of us. Wheezy?
Man, from the standpoint of this, if we could see it, how could you not? If we could see it, how could you not? There's no way on God's green earth that you can't see it if we can see it. You have the inside track. If we can see it, how could you not? As much as I do not agree with a lot of the stuff you stand for, and hey, I've been on this platform, I've been on other little things. I might have even said during one of my little excerpts, listen, I've had this conversation with plenty of people who ride with you, who no matter what you do, they ride with you, right? And I've had this conversation because they'll be like, well, he's really not like that. 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 I'm just saying, what we have to do is, I'm going to do. He's really not like that. He's really not like that. And I've always even said, I plan. I mean, but my thing is, okay, they say he's really not like that. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, the message he puts out says otherwise. Now he could be using that portion of the establishment, which is very true, to get into a position of power to where he can do whatever, but it's still self-motivating because if you're not like that, what are you? You are a sellout. Because if you aren't like this, you're a sellout. That's number one. That's even just what you represent to get in power in the first place. With respect to all of this, everyone saw it, especially the people who did not vote for you. They saw it. I personally have said it on many occasions. I know we used to get into this earlier on in our earlier episodes. I may have said it on here. I've definitely said it to anybody I've talked to. Although that wasn't my choice, I wasn't super duper tripping. My main worry was having this dude in the pocket. That was my main worry. To the point where even Candace Owens had to step back from blindly defending. Now, if she had to step back, there's something. You got Cat over here, and Cat over here causing problems. You know why? Because he's puppeting you. You out here, you're working for his agenda. You're not even working for yours. because at least yours would be for the benefit of the rich American people. You out here making a way for him to, now he has suffered, right? Financially, he has suffered, right? Tesla, they giving them back. What's the other one? They can't make they can't give them back enough. You had an auction on the White House lawn type stuff. So we saw it though. That was I could talk for me. Can't talk for everybody, but I know there's people of similar mindset. I probably wouldn't have voted for you anyway. But I mean, let's just keep it a buck. I mean, I just don't the underlying tone of your message just doesn't align with who I am as a brother. But as far as the worry came from the fact that he was in your back pocket, and we already know. Why would he have any loyalty to you? You'd be better off, and I'm gonna be funny, but I'm being for real. You would be better off having Kamala Harris in your back pocket or someone like that, because at least they're going to be loyal to the soil. Because now what you've done is you've compromised the soil. I got to get hood terms on you. I got to get turf talk on you. You've compromised the soil. This is bigger than you guys falling out, man. You're responsible. How many people are in the U.S.? 250 million? 300 million people? How many people are in the U.S.? Like, there are 340.1 million people in the U.S. You are responsible for 340.1 million people. So now all of this stuff, look at all the intel he has in just the first however many days. He didn't like this bill. To your point, he didn't like this bill. Well, he sure didn't have a problem with any other bill. How would you even move forward with his agenda with respect to all these migration, these immigrant issues and all that stuff from an immigrant? That doesn't make any sense. We're talking about 2 + 2 = 4 here, people. This isn't a red side, blue side, left side, right side. This is common sense side. And right now, we all gonna get on some Proud Boy stuff, because that Proud Boy stuff ain't just for you people in a certain demographic that don't like everybody else. Because guess what? Not everybody else built this country. My father built this country and barely could vote at the time he was serving. Let's start there. That's who built this country. Musk didn't build this country. He had nothing to do with this country being built. All he did was capitalize on our greed. You know who was the representation of that greed? The person who got put in position of power. That's all you've shown and illustrated to us. That greed is the most important thing that we need to be operating under. Because you operated from a point of greed, because you were so intent on getting the office back. My intention, here's what I want today. I want to get the office back. So you use this cat to get the office back from both ethical and unethical things. We know Elon did unethical stuff for you to get in office. Let's just keep it a buck. I'm surprised the Harris and the other side didn't raise more fuss about it like you did, having January 6 people riot on the White House lawn.
You believe
peaceful rally.
The January 6 people are actually suing now. Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Now they're suing. Now look at this. Now listen.
Because
y'all call us ghetto?
They got let out now. So when you let them out, now what y'all locked me up for wasn't right. They are actually suing now. Just thought I would let you know that.
And you pardon all those people who literally, and then all of you guys that are cool with all that shame on y'all too, because y'all the reason we in this. Let's keep it a thou wow. It's all y'all are the reason we in this, because you guys support. You guys are quick to get on BLM. You guys are quick to get on all these other things, but these people, and the national treasure, which is the White House, which is the powerful, the leader of the free world is the president. The White House is the place where the president resides. They completely destroyed it, and you guys are applauding. You guys are applauding their pardons. What messages are we sending? Hey, listen, all the government people that got let go and got let off and all that kind of stuff, the majority of them people, I'm sure, voted for you. He didn't let you think he was going to be doing anything else but some scandalous stuff. I ain't never defended you so much in my life. If you ever watch this, as far as to his defense is concerned, never so much have I said to his defense. People, oh, I can't believe I can't. Well, to his defense, you know what I mean? To his defense, he been saying he was gonna slap you in the face. He's been said this. He did all these cuts for game. I saw somebody who did a post earlier today talking about they're doing all this cutting, all this fund cutting and whatnot, all this social security cutting and all this welfare cutting and X, Y, and Z, so now it forces the crime rate to go up because people are going to be desperate. So now they're going to be out here doing stuff, and then you're going to lock them up for funds that you've cut and then invest in the system that's locking them up. You know, prison's one of the biggest systems in the world. Come on, man. Enough is enough. Now, I will say this before we go, Lisa Renee, because I know we got to move on. Back to your point when we said we really got to pay attention. First of all, I'm going to give my barber some love because he said at the beginning that this wasn't going to work out. He said it. He said at the beginning, he said, this ain't going to work out. He said they already starting to beef a little bit. This is like right after the Heil Hitler sign that everybody dismissed, black folks included. Like, come on, man, where are we at? Man, you better go throw in a Public Enemy tape or something and get back to it. I mean that. If you too young to know who Public Enemy is, you better get on it. If that's not your sound, you better ignore the sound and let's bring it back.
Okay, so let's go into Antoine Massey.
Word.
Antoine Massey, you guys, he is one of the escapees. I think it was 10 of them total that broke out of the jail in New Orleans. A lot of people were arrested for helping several of them get out. And at this point, they've caught, I think, 8, and there's only 2 that are left out. I want to say the person who didn't go live is a smarter one because nobody knows where this other one is. However, I do understand where Antoine Massey is at. Antoine's like, here's what's going on in Louisiana, New Orleans, okay? New Orleans.
Nolans.
No.
Tell the minute he started talking, he was from Nolans. You could tell he was from Nolans the minute he started talking.
The skin, the hair, everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying what you don't understand is that a lot of us, let's call it black men, are being locked up in jail for things that we did not do. Now, I'm first to say, I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if it's not true, to be very honest. But he did bring paperwork to support his claims that this is not true. Now, I did watch his aunt who went live and, she wants her nephew to, turn himself in. This is not good for, the family, the parents, they raised him better. But she did say he is a really good guy. He is a really good father. And it's really good because we do see escapees and we all often think about what they're convicted of, but we forget who they are in totality as a person. I talked about that last week. Some people may be good in one area, but they might be horrible in other areas. And so we have to look at a person in totality of who he is. And so she shared another side of, the picture of who he is. And I understand that some people need to go through different tactics to get what they need to get done. However, I'm never for breaking the law. But if he was falsely accused, the law was already broken.
If he was falsely accused, the law was already broken. That just deserved the replay. Continue.
So you can't get mad if someone breaking the law when you already broke the law, when you arrested him, convicted him, and threw him away for many, many years away from his family. That's why I say it's important for us to look in the totality of everything that is going on. And I believe if there is any ounce of truth, any attorney that can find any ounce of truth, is that Antoine can be brought back and that his case can be retried. Because if this man is innocent, he deserves to be heard. The really sad thing about it is that the longer he gets away, the probably more dangerous it's going to be able to get. It is sad. Now, I don't know if it's true, but his family ratted him out. The family recognized the picture in the background. They knew it was a family's household, and they ended up telling the cops exactly where he was. Here's my thing with my family member. And I'm not one to support bad law or whatever. I would just tell my family member, my name is Bennett. I ain't in it. That's it. I don't want any part of it. I don't want to do what you need to do. I'm out of here because I don't want any part of it. But we also have to understand if this man is innocent, he deserves to be heard. He deserves to be heard. There are a lot of innocent people in jail. We've had it. Kim Kardashian has helped a lot of people. Now, I know y'all may not like her. or her image, or y'all want to talk about her plastic surgery and all of these things. But let's call it as it is. She has used her legal background to help people who were falsely imprisoned. And that's only just a small percentage. It's much bigger. If this man can put on a camera and show paperwork, he deserves to be heard. Does he deserve to be caught and go back to jail and let things go through the process? Absolutely. However, you cannot break the law and then get mad at somebody else for breaking the law. Figure out which way we're going to be in America.
Mm.
Okay, we already started this call, all in America. You know what I mean? We say the pledge. Either we're going to be upstanding, good people, or we're going to be ratchet. And ratchet can be in all races. Let's call a spade a
Man,
spade.
hey,
Either
stop it.
we're going to be upright, good citizens, tell the truth, do the right thing, or we're going to break the law, but then get mad at somebody for breaking the law. But if you guys convicted him and he wasn't really the person that did the RAPE, didn't you already break the law? So you can't expect somebody fighting for their life to do right when you didn't already do right. Anyone knows when your backup is against the wall and you got to fight for your life and do whatever you got to do, you don't do things perfect. Because you're fighting for your life and people want you to come out perfect and do things perfect. Let me give you a scenario. Have you ever had somebody that upsets you so much and you tried to be real quiet and you tried to be real good to one point you broke? Not because you wanted to, that was out of character for you, but you were trying to tread easy and now you've been pulled out of your carrier. You're out of your character. The same thing. You cannot expect a person to walk the straight line when you're not doing right by them. In a relationship, when you don't do right by a person, do they act perfect? No. And even if they act perfect, it's only for a period of time. They're going to break loose and get gangster on you immediately. If you start treating employees bad, they might suffer for a little bit, but eventually they're going to quit. And Aunt Wow will tell you when you really piss them off, they'll send a videotape of somebody. Aunt Wow, do we not? They'll send a videotape and expose the whole call center and call us a virus. What happens when you don't do right by people? So when we take that to Antoine Massey, if he is truly innocent, I'm only speaking if he's truly innocent, don't expect him to walk a straight line when you guys didn't walk the line first. But I will tell you, Antoine, we on your side if you're innocent. Y'all guarantee him a safe return. Promise him that his case will be heard. And I guarantee you, Antoine will probably surrender himself. Aunt Wow?
I will say this, because like you mentioned, the other person has been really quiet. There's two that are still out, Antoine and the other person who's quiet, right? Those are the two that are still out. If Antoine because first of all, he's saying they let him out. He's saying he didn't escape. He said they let him out, that he's being lumped in with this escape group. He's saying that they let him out. I will say this. If Antoine is guilty, he got a funny way of showing it. Because, man, I don't know anybody who's guilty or even think that they could possibly be guilty and would run the risk of going on a live, talking about it, giving his name, showing all this paperwork, giving the whole breakdown of the case. If somebody is not innocent, it's hard for me to believe that they'll do that and sound as clear as he did. He was very clear. He was very convincing. Both Lisa and I, we have been around a lot of people, especially family members, who have had a lot of interactions with the vacation system, as we playfully call it in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, where he at? Oh, man, he on a county paid vacation. He'll be back in 9 months, 10 months, 2 years on a state paid vacation. You know what I mean? Because that's a state paid vacation, depending on how you look at it, especially if you like going back to that dang thing. So we've had those interactions with those people, and people in general, really. I don't even want to just narrow it down to them people. People in general, really. When there are holes in their situation, When you ask them questions or when they get to talking, there's a whole bunch of zeratus. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all kinds of roundabout talk. You know, there's not conciseness in how they deliver their message. Now, everybody's not a wordsmith. I understand that. So that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody who can't articulate themselves is guilty either. That doesn't mean that also. But somebody like Antoine, who's talking, I think he's a smart brother. I think he is a brother that can get his point across, but I don't think he's the most educated brother from a standpoint of public speaking or delivery or anything like that. So I say that to say, based on my experiences through life, somebody wouldn't be that articulate and clear with regards to the facts surrounding their particular case if they at least didn't believe in what they're saying, right? The person who hasn't came forward, yeah, you probably shouldn't. If you've been radio silent, you probably should be. And you probably shouldn't be in New Orleans nowhere either. Because you know how we do. We'll break out of something and go right back to the neighborhood. You need to be somewhere else. I'm not advocating any behavior or anything you've done, but you need to be somewhere else because I had a very close family member who was in a situation years ago, and they were unfortunately bundled into a very serious situation, and they got up out of here for a second. And I had conversation with said close friend, and I was telling this person, hey man, no man, you need to come back, you need to do this, you need to go, go face that, man, you good, everything is good. And literally like an hour and a half into the conversation, it just hit me. And this is exactly what I said. I said, now everything I've been telling you for the last hour and a half is based on the fact that you're innocent. If you're guilty, and maybe you don't feel like telling me that, or maybe you don't want that to be the narrative, this is only something you don't even got to answer me. But if you are guilty, I am never going to advise you to come back here so you can spend the rest of your life in prison. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to tell nobody where you at. Well, he didn't even tell me where he was. But if you aren't innocent, if you are guilty, then you need to stay your behind where you at. Because I would never tell somebody to come back and spend the rest of their life. I would never tell somebody that. So I'm saying that the person who's I'm saying all this for a reason. The person who's silent, yeah, you might just need to stay silent, like as silent as possible. You don't need to be nowhere. You don't need to be in the hoods. You don't need to be nowhere. You need to be on a boat somewhere trying to get somewhere.
Talking about a boat, remember the 3 guys that escaped from Alcatraz? They've never been discovered.
Listen.
Pictures of one of them, but they've never been discovered. Keep going. Yeah.
Listen.
That's what
And
I
it's
thought of when
funny
you said
you
a
say
boat.
that.
When you
It's
say a
funny you
boat.
say that.
Yeah.
We just went to Alcatraz back in February
And they're like, oh,
and
they
got
died.
reminded
They
of this
died.
story.
You don't know if they died.
We have no idea what happened to them. We don't know if they died. We don't know anything. We just literally went to Alcatraz a few months ago. They got that whole story. They got the whole diagram, everything that happened and everything. And once they left off the island, they have never been, not a peep, not a trace. We don't know. They could have went away with the fishes, or they could have went to Bermuda. With respect to this situation, he deserves the right to a fair trial. He deserves the right to be taken into custody safely, if that's what he so chooses. But I will say this, touching on the family kind of telling.
And while you pause, I just want to bring up a point. The 3 men that escaped were white. Don't tell me their family didn't help them. The difference is nobody peeped the word. Go into what you're about to say. And
That's
then,
a perfect.
and go ahead, and I won't mess
No,
up.
go ahead. You were going to say, and then.
And do understand why this is so personal for Aunt Wow and us. And I want my Caucasian people to listen to us. We are products of Black men years, generations back, being pulled away from our great grandmother's home. That now you understand why Black women are so strong. And it's sad that we have that stereotype that we can't lean into our soft era. It's because our great grandmothers had to work so hard to keep it all together because the man wasn't there.
Right.
From beginning of time, our men have been treated unfairly. So do please have grace with us and understand why, if this man is innocent, we have to bring it forward, because what he is talking about has been happening since the beginning of time. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen to white people or Latin people or Asian people, because it does. And I've seen the stories. But collectively as a whole, it has happened a lot to people of color, Black people of color. And that's why this hits Aunt Wow and I so personal. Aunt Wow, that's all I want to say with it.
1000%. And that is that's a big point to all of this. Because not only is it a big point to this in the fact of no one should be afraid to be taken in to see if you're going to get a fair trial. No one should be afraid of that. And it's too easy to label it otherwise. Reuben Hurricane Carter, I'm just bringing somebody that we all know, and we only know of him. I'm talking about collectively. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about Lisa. I'm talking about collectively as a people. We only know of him because one of the best actors who've ever lived, should have won an Oscar for it, portrayed his life story. But how many people never got their life stories portrayed? There's a man who I think just got released. He was convicted in 93 of killing a cop, and there was no evidence. And just because they said it was such, that happened that way. That still happens. So with that said, and with him pleading for help, I just don't know a lot of people who would be pleading for help going through a platform as public as Instagram or wherever it was that he released it, asking for this help.
But in this type of situation, it's a little bit different. He has facts and he has paperwork that's saying something differently. And I
Yeah.
believe he has a voice to be heard. So
Yeah, I agree. So
yeah.
yeah, very, very yeah, we getting spicy on this one and
Yeah, we're
today.
getting a little, because there's a lot of spicy things going on right now. So let's get into Halle and DDG, and we got to go there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I didn't get it yet.
DDG, let me
Yeah.
start off with this because a lot of people are only reporting one half of the story. And I'm going to say this. Yes, Halle Berry was awarded to leave Italy with Halo. However,
Holly,
yeah,
not
Bailey.
Barry,
Bailey. Yeah.
Bailey.
Halle Bailey was awarded to take Halo to Italy. However, what people are not talking about, and we need to be fair, but the judge also told her in so many words, don't come near DDG.
Mm.
So all of his things that he did present, the judge is saying, hey, there is something wrong. Halle, you have to stay away from DDG. So I want to make sure that we report that, because everyone's just making it, oh, it's a win for Halle. She gets to take the child. This is not a win for anybody, guys.
No, start there.
If anything, it's a lesson that we all need to learn from this situation. And I'm going to tell you, DDG, where I think you went wrong, but I am glad that you fought. I think you let Halle beat you to the court first.
Mm.
See, what men do, and it's happened to too many of my male friends, listen to me, men, tune in, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because too many times, y'all just be so relaxed. Oh, she cool.
Mm-hmm.
She good. She gonna be okay. All well and done. And let me tell you about women. Women can be very meticulous about things. They can smile in your face and be doing 1,000 things behind your back that you don't even know.
Facts.
So when you see that duck quack, believe that duck quack. See, Maya Angelou tried to teach us, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time.
Man.
DDG, when you saw that she was like this many years back, to just be fair, how you do is say, hey, I'm not trying to cause war with Halle at all. I love her. She's the mother of my child. But just to be fair, I want to go to court. split visitation, split medical, whatever way it needs to be, just so we can be fair. If you beat her to the court, then this sometimes can go in your favor. But what happened is she beat you to the court and she showed everybody that you've been doing DV on her. So she kind of had the upper hand on you. And
Yeah.
now what it looks like, not saying this is what you did, now it's just looking like you just pissed and mad. So now you're
Yeah.
just rebelling against her. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
When I'm not saying it is, because obviously you had these messages and you showed us what was going on and things like that too as well. And I think you and Holly, you just got to grow up a little bit. You're doing normal things that we all do in our 20s. So just for people to act like they're doing things that are out, no, many people in their 20s do crazy stuff. Let's just, we
Yeah.
all been there. Like
Yep.
let's not fake. Like we are so perfect now
Right.
because we up in our 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and we got it all together. Like stop it. When
Right.
you're young, you're stupid. You make dumb mistakes. You scratch cars up. You call and hang up. You go into social media and start. Hell, some of y'all 40s, y'all probably still doing that now.
Yeah.
But what they're
Facts. No,
what
let's keep it a
I
thou
just
wow.
want to be very clear. What they're doing in their 20s is that growing up, and it's painful. It's painful because you realize that person doesn't respect you or love you or see you the same way. And I think it was more hurtful than Holly than it was for DDG. Don't get me wrong. I think DDG was hurt too as well, but he just wanted to get out of it. And we can see why. We can clearly see why he wanted to get out of it because it was toxic from both of their sides.
Yeah.
When I see the text messages and I see the evidence, neither one of them were squeaky clean. Do I love them both? Absolutely. You cannot not love this girl. But I love DDG too because this is this young guy. He got into this YouTube game and streaming and found out the rules of the game, started making his music, putting it out there, not asking permission for anyone.
Yeah.
He wasn't asking. See, many people get big because of somebody else. This kid said, I'm going to go live every day. I'm going to do something that everybody ain't willing to do. Even to this point, he's going live every day. For any of you guys that do not stream, do you know how hard that is?
That's tough.
That is difficult. Even in the height of all this stuff, he's still going live every day. It is not easy. Not only did I see him do that, I've seen his rap music. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. And then if you see him as a father, my God. My God. DDG, if you have not started doing classes on how to father, you better do that. Because the love that you dispel for Halo is I mean, I haven't seen anything like that on YouTube. I'm just going to be honest. I see little clips and little things like that, but I see DDG consistency since Halo has been there, how much he loves his little boy. And I know he can't probably display it 100%, but I know it hurts. I saw his brother go live, and it was almost like his brother was feeling the pain for his brother.
Yeah.
You know, because I think he started tearing up and things like that because he went through so much. And so his brother was like, I'll suffer and do what I got to do because I want to see my kid. And I'm telling men, no, that's the problem. That's the problem. You don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
There is a law, but y'all sit back and y'all wait and y'all let these women do whatever they got to do. And then by time you come up and try to fight, you just look like a itch in the situation because you waited too late. You got to beat them when it's nasty. It's nasty. It is what it is. It's not personal. It's business. You have rights as a parent.
Yeah.
You have rights as a parent to see your child. You don't want me to see my child? Okay. Okay. I didn't want to go this way, but I had to. So if it's anything, I know you guys got court coming up in June, and I pray that you guys will grow and this thing will work out. Because I'm telling you, from a divorced parent, it hurts your child. And the quicker y'all can fix it, the less impact it has on your child. But if you guys don't fix it, it's going to impact your children. We're going to get to Brian McKnight and we're going to show how it can impact your children. But I'm going to pass the baton over here to Aunt Wild about Holly and DDG. I love you too.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
I liked these two together, man. It's unfortunate. I will say this. I'll just without being so abstract, because Lord knows I can be. But I will say this, and I'll speak to a point that you made. Um, we absolutely take way too much time as men to do the things that women ultimately end up doing. Because guess what? The court of public opinion, vast majority of the time, is going to go to the woman. She's the one who can come after you. You can't come after her. Like if you go first, she's the one who can come after you do and possibly sway the opinion. If you go first, and let's just keep it real, especially as a black couple, let's just keep it a buck. Because as Lisa said, the whole design is for you not to be in the life. That's the whole design. It's a systemic thing all the way down to how we interact with each other, which is why I went on my tangent last week, I believe it was, when I'm talking about how every time we in a breakup, it's got to be court of public opinion. We got to be out here in these streets trying to appeal to the public as opposed to handling that stuff behind closed doors. Because guess what? All we do is heighten the stereotype. We can't be out here saying, oh, we don't want black men treated this way, or, oh, we don't want black women looked at this way. But yet the first chance we get, I break up with a chick, and now I'm talking, excuse me, now I'm talking about how terrible she is and all that kind of stuff. That's a reflection on you, brother. You chose to be with her. While we're painting this court of public opinion, neither one of them have been saints. There's been a lot of red flags he had about her. So to Lisa's point, if you were feeling a certain way, unfortunately, especially being a man, you got to go. You got to go talk to somebody about it. Hey, judge. Hey, ma'am. Hey, sir. I'm this concerned. I might need a restraining order, X, Y, and Z, all these kinds of things. She's exhibiting some very unstable behavior. We can't always wait for the women to go and then us go. It's never going to look good for us. So,
Exactly.
again, I like these two together.
Yeah.
She a bad little thing, he seemed like a good brother. I like them together, but sometimes it don't work. It don't matter what I like. Sometimes it don't work. But we just got to be better on how we deal with these situations. And men, if you the self-worth talk ain't just for women. It's for men too. So if you're not feeling you're being uh feeling worthy of that person's worthy of you being in their life in a certain way, then you have every right to make every decision you got to make. And that sometimes may include going to get people involved that shouldn't be involved, because as adults, you should be able to. I'm saying should. I understand how the world works, but we should be able to resolve it within ourselves. But if we can't, then you might not need to go get help, and you don't need to always wait on the woman to go do it.
Absolutely. And so I might need to be censored as we go into this other topic, talking about divorce and how it impacts children. Let's talk about Brian McKnight. You told Brian, I don't even want
I'm
to.
sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, I don't even want to sing a song. I, I, I just, his son just passed, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And one of his son's requests was to see his father before he passed. Do you think his father came through?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to sing any of his songs.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sing any of his songs. I think a lot of people are not. He's been blasted up and down, left and right. I saw Brian McKnight not long ago at the airport, and Julian was being a groupie.
Hey, Brian got them slaps.
But I was not.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
because I don't think that Brian McKnight isn't a hell of a singer, because he is. He's extremely talented. That's why I said I don't mind you playing with his music, because I'm a person that can think beyond. I try to see people overall. He is extremely talented and gifted, not just in voice, but as a musician too, as well, if you know Brian McKnight's history. However, a lot of times with divorced parents, they remarry and they tend to forget about the first family. Yeah. I saw
Yeah,
him and I saw his
that's
wife.
true.
And everything that I've seen online, I would have to say some things I saw displayed in front of me. I will not say what those things are specifically, because I do want to respect Brian and his wife's privacy. And I know most people are like, no, respect, he did this to his son. I got to still live with myself as a
Yeah,
person.
facts.
So I will not go into anything that happened, but I will say that I saw him not long ago at the airport. Nico, rest in peace. You were very talented. I am deeply hurt that your request for your father to come be by your dying bed was not honored. I think it's a piece of move.
Yeah.
I think when you have a dying child, especially, I don't care, mom, father, sister, brother, cousin, but most importantly, a child. Because as a parent, we hope to go before you, not you go before us. So the fact that your son was in stage 4 colon cancer
Man.
and you chose not to honor his last wish says a lot. It really says a lot. Now, to be fair, Brian McKnight said that they tried to give him a certain care, a certain type of way, and that the mother was against it. I don't know if that's true or not, because Brian, we saw you literally disown your children on social media. We saw you say that the real Brian McKnight, which is your older son, you renamed your younger children Brian McKnight. Like, even if you got remarried, to disown and give your new children the exact same name as one of your sons, it made no sense. Y'all couldn't create a new lane and to honor the graduation of your new wife's kids, but not honor any of the things that your current children are doing. And I get it. I know your daughter sued you. I'm sure that had to be painful.
Yeah.
I can imagine my son suing me. So I'm not saying that those things are not painful, but what I'm saying when it comes down to death, we put all that to the side.
Yeah.
We put all of this to the side. I love Julian. I love him a lot. But there's no way in hell would he ever keep me away if my son was on his last leg away from him.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that your new wife wouldn't have said anything.
Facts.
I'm
Facts.
shocked because
That's
there's
where I
no
was going.
way. There's
Yeah.
no way. I would be like, Julie, if you don't get your A up and go see your child, but
Facts.
he did, and again, we're just hyper. This is not true. But if if Julian was like, but he did this to me, I don't care. I don't care because what you don't understand when someone is already sick with the illness, this type of stuff escalates. Doctors have shown. But people who are able to live longer, it tends to be from the loving support of their family. Dad, he just wanted you to come there by his side. Maybe he didn't want all the fancy care. Our children's lives are their lives, it's not ours. So if he wanted this on his dying bed, you couldn't give him this? He deserved that. He didn't ask to come in this world. You saw the post that he put up there, Dad. I just wish I could get one more hug with my mom, my brothers, and my father. Because you can erase and change names, whatever it is, Brian, that's your son. All of those are your kids, whether you like it or not. And now your side piece is spilling the beans. Your side piece is telling us that your new wife was a side piece too, while you were married to Nico's mom.
Mm.
So how could you expect everything to be perfect when you have scorned a woman, Brian? Because when you scorn the mother, guess what? These divorces, you scorn the kids. Which is why I pray DDG and Halle can get it together before Halo gets of age. You scorn the kids' parents. Let me tell you this. If you decide to get a divorce, I know you want to free yourselves, and I'm not saying don't free yourselves, but you have to do everything you can to make sure your child is healthy. You got to put them first. I'm not saying you got to stay in a nasty relationship, but you got to pull resources. You got to do whatever you can to keep the foundation of your child healthy. Divorce impacts them. It impacts in-laws. It impacts everybody, not just you thinking about your selfish decision. And divorce is selfish. I'm sorry, because you're only thinking about yourself. I need peace. I don't need the drama. I need I. That's how we all, everybody who's had a breakup, that's how we always are. And then we paint the story to the media or to our family like this person is the biggest damn monster. Just because we want the validation and the votes. But this is what happens. Somebody gets hurt in between that BS, and most times it's the children.
Yeah.
It's the children. So to his mother, who, from what I seem to have a very gracious spirit, from what I know, and let me get it wrong. I can't say everything Brian, let me be fair to Brian. I can't say everything Brian is saying is wrong or right. What I'm saying is, in this situation, Brian, you pause and you put all that to the side and say, I need to go and honor my son's last wish. This is where you got to own this. This is what you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. And when you transition and cross over, you're going to see him. And that ain't going to probably feel good. I've had a near-death experience. Let me tell you, anything you don't do right, you'll feel it. So it's important while you are on earth to treat people with kindness. It is not a cliche. It is not just something we say. It is something that I mean. He deserved that. And you didn't give it to him. And thank God for your brother, who probably had to play father and uncle, who came out and spoke on your son's character because you did not do so. And then you want to tell, well, we had a private memorial. Yeah, sure. Now you want us to honor. We're saying you should have honored him before he passed. That's what we're saying. Brian, get it through your head. You think everybody's crazy on social media? We're trying to get you to see. You had a chance to right this wrong. You even had a chance to go see him and at least explain your side to him, but you didn't even give him that. You didn't even give him that. He was worth that. So to his uncles, to his siblings, and to his beautiful mother, I can't even understand how you could be feeling right now. I am so, so sorry for your loss. And me and Aunt Wow, we were going to do whatever we could to make sure that he is honored and he is lifted up in this video, because his life does matter. It did matter. And as long as we need to talk about it, we will continue to talk about it. Parents, put your children first. We're not saying you can't live your life, but when you decided to have a child, you chose to give them a life that they can grow and be their best selves. Do that. And wow.
As you heard me singing at the beginning, because he listen, Brian, when you said he was fanning out, I can understand, especially brothers, when we courting a young lady and whatnot, you want to put on some romantic stuff. Hey man, Brian McKnight was one of the, you know what I mean? He was one of the guys. I will say this. When you have a family, then you go get another family, like you said, and then all of a sudden, in a lot of cases, the first family doesn't really exist. Now, I'm not there every day. I don't know what happened. But I have a hard time, just from what I know, I have a hard time thinking that Nico, God bless you, brother. God bless your soul. God bless your family. God bless everybody. I can only imagine that. I have a hard time thinking that um that Nico was a a big bad person, right? If he was a son where you reached out and reached out, reached out, and he continued to steal from you, and I'm not even just talking material possessions, I'm just talking about life. He continued to steal life from you because his presence continued to take life from you. And for those that know, no. For everybody know that what I'm talking about, no, I'm not going to get that personal and say how that relates, because I've used that phrase directly. For everybody that knows. But if they were somebody who was taking life from you, every time they came around, their existence took life from you. They took years off of your life because of their existence. They were constantly putting a torture and a strain on you being alive. If you had enough in that situation and wiped your hands clean and was like, hey, no, dog, I've given you every chance in the world. You continue to F up, you continue to come, you continue to cause havoc for me, my new family, your old family, you continue to do all this stuff, man. I have enough. Even in that situation, I would say it's your son. Go see him one last time before he gets up out of here. But if you chose not to, I can't really speak on that. That's your decision. But in this situation, it don't seem like any of that happened. Seemed like Nico was a cool cat. Seemed like he was a cool kid. Like you say, the testimony that his uncle gave, speaking out on his character. If that was somebody who displayed those tendencies, I don't know if the outpouring would be the same, right? So now it seems like it's a personal thing between you and him. Now it's a pride thing between father and son. And so now, based on that, you chose not to go see him. You chose not to go be in the same room with him and your ex-wife. Remember, I just talked about this. Regardless of how you feel, that was your ex-wife. You had, what, 2 kids with her? Like, that was your ex-wife. You had 2 kids with her. You decided to marry her, all those kinds of things. You guys had irreconcilable differences. Whatever happened, you guys went your own path. You go that way, I'm going to go this way. But she is the mother of your child. You guys decided to have kids. The Nico seemed to be a great person, right? So it seemed like it was a father and son struggle more than I can't mess with you no more because you're just taking life from me type of struggle. So that's a pride thing. That's an ego thing. So now you decided to not go see your son based on ego, if that's the situation, which is what it appears to be. You can't blame people for feeling a certain way and how you decided to handle that.
I don't know if you knew, he ended up saying that his biological children, and I want this to be clear why people understand why people are very upset about this. He said that his biological children were a product of sin. And at that time, he also praised his new family. And it led to the cancellation of a Detroit concert and the postponement of the Brian McKnight Ford tour. Now, this was just last year. The
Yeah.
Warner Theater cited rescheduling, but fans believe the delay is due to poor ticket sales driven by the boycott. So after now what has happened, I don't know what ticket sales and stuff may look like because I'm telling you, people are
Well,
outraged. Some of the
ain't no way.
people are outraged. It's just because, and I'm happy. I mean, to people, if you see some of the comments, people are like, I hope him and his wife can't sleep at night. And I won't go that deep. I will say that all of us will have our life replayed at some point. And we will have to own up to the things that we did. And I would encourage people, if you have done some wrong and you're able to fix that wrong, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it so it doesn't have to replay back. You can fix it while you're here. We're all here for a life lesson, Aunt Wow. We're all here for a lesson. And you got to figure out what that lesson is, that why your soul and your spirit was brought here. And you have to achieve that before you cross over. If you didn't realize, remember how Selena, before she transitioned, look at all the things she did before she transitioned.
Ooh, don't get me started on that girl.
Think about Aaliyah before she transitioned, all the things.
That
You
girl
understand?
too.
And it's still sad that their lives were taken from them. But if you notice, they accomplished a lot in their short lives.
Ooh,
So I just wanted to bring up what he had said, those statements about
you know what? And
children.
I'm glad you brought those up because I forgot about that point. Me and Neva were talking about that. I'm glad you brought that up. So now that even heightens everything I just said times 10. Your kids were a product of sin. You were probably a product of sin. The vast majority of us are products of sin. If that's what you label sin, not being it now, I wasn't, right? But especially in our community, you're probably one of the few ones that weren't. Like, we're all of that. And even if that's the case, you're a product of sin. Now, first of all, I don't even know what that means. I'm sure I know what he is conveying when he says that, but I don't know what the hell that means. A product of sin. If that's a scapegoat. Oh, yeah, that first marriage, a product of sin, and X, Y, and Z. Well, that even heightens everything I just said even more. Because now you're not interacting with this kid, this young man who is no longer here. You didn't validate his last wish based on a decision you made. He didn't decide to be here. Whether the kid was born in sin or not, you made the decision. That kid didn't come and say, okay, I'm going to go into your reproductive system and then I'm going to choose to come out in the product of sin. You did that. You and the mom did that. The kid didn't ask to be here. So all those decisions that we try and rely on, and I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying us, especially us as a people, when we say, oh, they're a product of this, so I don't get along with the mama, and whatever that is, you did that. Nobody else did that. You can't then bring this person in here and then leave them based on how you feeling. Bring the person up. Show them a different way. Don't leave them dangling. That's just period. Let alone when you know how much it probably took Nico to reach out to him and say, I want to see you one last time, Pop. Considering all the history you guys have, considering how you disowned them based on some bull crap like that they were bought out of sin. You know how much manhood and pride it probably took for him to call you up or reach out to you to say, hey, Pop, I want one last time, even though you've been an AHOLE. You know how much it took for him to do that? Because he had every right to be like, I ain't reaching out to that ninja for nothing. He can kiss my tail on my way up out of here. And he still reached out to you. So guess what, my brother? Because I am a fan musically. I have been a fan, all the things. You have helped me on some very romantic nights with some very beautiful women. But I will say this, like Lisa said, you're going to meet. And listen, the karma, I don't even want to say karma because I'm not wishing nothing. I'm just saying the universe never forgets. Universe never forgets. And I will also say this, because your new wife, she seems beautiful, right? Filipino girl. Everybody knows I got a thing for my Filipino sisters, right? I understand. But I do agree in this standpoint. I don't know if we talked about this on this, Lisa, or if we talked about it off air before we got on. But I will say this. I don't know if we've covered this since we've been on air, but I do want to say this. And if we have, I'm going to reiterate it. All I will say to you, baby girl, Brian McKnight's new wife, when that was reached out, you should have been the main advocate for him to go see Nico. That should have turned you off the fact that he didn't. Because if it was that easy for that, these are his flesh and blood. These aren't his stepkids, right? Which is wrong. It's all wrong. If you had a hand in raising these people, it's all wrong. But what I'm saying is this is your flesh and blood. So now I hope you guys stay together. I truly do. I don't have nothing. I don't gain anything from you guys not being together and living happily ever after. But it has to cross your mind that if something happens with you and he feels like you got now your kids that you have with him weren't brought up in this perfect situation, how easy would it be? So you should have been advocating for him to go. And I'm not saying, hey, listen, behind closed doors, maybe she did. But what I am saying is this, you didn't, baby girl. I just had her name up to, I think her name is Leilani. And Leilani's beautiful. Hey, look, Filipino. Hey, listen, like I said, everybody knows I got a little thing for my Filipino sisters. But what I'm saying is if Leilani, if you didn't advocate, shame on you, baby girl. Because you should have at least advocated for that. Because I can't imagine what Nico, the other child, or the ex-wife ever did to you. You came around, what, over a decade after they weren't together. Now, that was you were probably the side piece, as you said, the side piece was the side piece and all that kind of stuff.
Allegedly. The word is coming out now that she was
allegedly.
And we don't know that. And to be very honest, if she told him to go, he would have won. If she told him to go, he would have went and he would have praised that it was Leilani who told me to be here. She ain't tell him to go. I know allegedly. I don't think she told him to go.
That's my
Most
point.
men will support if their wives are asking to do that. He would have went.
And I just that's a knock on you. Cause see, everybody got responsibility in this. That's a knock on you. You should have been. There's no way that a situation would happen, regardless of what, where I'm not like, hey man, you need to go handle that. Like you know, you need to go. Hey, I'm never gonna. If it's just a difference or whatever, I understand. You're a grown person. You make your own decisions. But in that situation, hey man, you need to go. You need to go. Like, and I agree. That's why I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. But I do agree with you. I do think if she said go, he would have went. It's hard for me to imagine that she did because he didn't. And you should have been advocating for him to go because that's just the not to sound cliche, but that's the right thing to do, man. He's about to get up out of here. Regardless of how you feel, your Brian McKnight's only 56 years old. So God willing, you got 20, 30 more years to feel however you feel. He got 20, 30 more minutes, maybe. So you go honor that. Go honor that. So bad look, McKnight. That's a bad look, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, that's
Man,
a bad look.
let's talk about some sports. What's going on in the sports world right now?
Well, so what's going on is, and then look, I just released the Talking My episode, so I won't repeat
Yes, I
everything
can't
I
wait to
did.
watch it.
Yeah, I just released one this morning because I had to go straight to it last night. But the game one of and I got more stuff. I'm coming up with more. But the game one of the NBA Finals was, man, let me tell you one something. This is going to be an interesting series, and I've said this from the beginning to anybody that listened. Me and my boy Ricky Allen, shout out. Me and Ricky had a good long conversation about this. The Pacers are not the better team, but they're not that much below either. And they can still very much win due to the fact that they simply do not stop playing. They don't stop playing, and they completely understand the importance of manufacturing points. So in this day and age, and you hear me talk about it on my first Talking My episode and the one I just released, in this day and age, a lot of the criticism, which is fair, although, I'm an NBA defender and advocate and all that, but a lot of times when there's been this thing like all they do is shoot threes, I understand why people feel that way, right? Because that brand of basketball is not as compelling, and not everybody's Steph. Now, everybody has become a better three-point shooter, I understand, but not everybody is Steph. And it's funny, as good as the Pacers are at shooting threes, as good as they are at they shot the most and made the most, and they might have even shot at the highest percentage. But as good as they are on that, they literally do all the other stuff, especially offensively. So they're going to get a good shot. They're going to play good defense. They're going to rebound. They are going to do enough all the time. They're going to get to the free throw line. They had 20 turnovers in the first half and still managed to win the game against a very good OKC team that had the best record in the league. And OKC didn't play bad down the stretch. It's not like they turned the ball over or whatever. Indiana just kept grinding. And the game is 48 minutes long. We all know that. It's 12 minutes a quarter. OKC led for 47 minutes, 59 seconds, 59.7 seconds. The Pacers only led for 0.3 seconds. Dig that. When Tyrese Halliburton hit that shot, there was 0.3 seconds left on the clock. The Thunder didn't get a shot off. They win the game, 111-110. So we are in now I always thought this was an interesting series. Now it's really interesting. Because now the pressure is on OKC. They had the best record in the league. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I am a big fan of, MVP of the league, rightfully so. I thought they were going to give it to Joker, and everybody knows how much I love Joker because Joker has reimposed the importance of the big man in the league where everybody was like, oh, big man. Now Joker's reimposed it, and now you've seen all the teams that have advanced have legit bigs in there. So I like that. Pause. I feel like I should say a pause in there somewhere. But But Shea is the truth. He's a bad boy. And the pressure is on OKC. The pressure was on OKC from the jump. It's really on OKC now. So now we really have a barn burner of a series. We really have a barn burner of a series ahead of us. So game 2 is on Sunday. I'm looking very forward to it. Uh, the minute Tyrese raised up, I said, that's good because he's been hitting them all. He scored 14 points and still found a way to facilitate the game and win. Now, he's going to get all the headlines, and rightfully so, because he's hit all the big shots. But to me, Andrew Nembhard was the MVP. I called him New Hill on my Talking My episode. I'm sorry, Andrew, if you ever watch this. Nembhard, I was so excited. I couldn't remember your name and I didn't feel like looking it up because I was going to sidetrack me. He was the real MVP because he continued to apply pressure. Continue to. So now what that does is that loosens up the defense. They can't just sit there and now focus on everybody because they was D'ing Tyrese up. Lou Dort was D'ing him up. Pause. Whenever Shea's on him, people forget Shea's 6'6". So you got a lot of length and size on him. So they were able to neutralize him. And Nembhard, although he didn't have a big 30, 40-point game, the fact that he continued to apply pressure allowed him to make a lot of other plays for a lot of other people to get open. So we got a very good series ahead of us. Looking very forward to it. And we'll see what happens. I can't make a prediction yet, especially after last night, but we'll see what happens. But good. It's a good look for the league in general. We have very compelling basketball, and I like it.
Julian was driving me crazy. I was not feeling good. He's like, I gotta watch this last minute of the game. I said, you're going in the living room because I need to get some sleep. Anyway, good stuff, good stuff. Anyway, guys, let's get to our wonderful inspiration. So this quote is actually from Henry Ford. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane, haha, flight attendant here, takes off against the wind, not with it. Again,
Ooh,
right. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind and not with it. And
ooh,
that's by Henry Ford.
bars. That's kind of what we're doing right now. Um, Everything we're doing right now is kind of against the wind, right? When everything seems to be going against you, remember that. Well, there are always going to be factors that deter you so that you can go with the crowd because most people don't have the strength to go against the wind.
Mm.
So they want, we all are crabs in the barrel type stuff. Even today, I still get subtle things. Subtle, even if they don't say it to me because I'm so tied into my purpose, I hear it. I hear it around. Oh, he's still doing that. Oh, it's still. Well, a lot of times it's because they don't understand, which is not their responsibility to their defense. And other times in that lack of understanding, humans fear what they don't understand. And a lot of times that fear is manifested through crabs in a barrel type statements and sentiments. Nah, man, you should just do it like this. Or they always have an opinion on what you should do because you're being bold. And not only are you being bold, you're pretty good at being bold. You're good in your lane, but it doesn't really make sense to them all the time. So then it's easy for them to try and steer your jet in the direction that everybody else is going in. Where the real gold is over here. It's a little harder going against this wind that was slapping me up in the face. Pause. Slap, having to fight. But then once I get there, now you can't take it away from me because I didn't do anything else but what I was called to do. That's where the power lies. So we need to stay diligent on that. That's what the saying is saying. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. So when you finally do ascend, it's because you lean into the journey. And that journey is going to have some pushback because he's always working. Satan always working. He can't. He got. If he sees you get a lot of times, this is certain stuff that, and I know Lisa, we've talked about this, and I know she can relate to this. A lot of times, what gets me through some really tough times is just, and it doesn't make this easy. It doesn't all go away just because I remember this, because you're still in the thick of going through tough times, what albeit emotionally, mentally, or whatever. But a lot of times, the beginning of getting your footing back is saying, "Must be getting close." Because he busy. Must be getting close because he busy. So now that wind is tucking at you, boy. And it's easy to say, man, that's a little too much, man. I'm gonna go over here with him, stay out the way. But that means a lot of times that means you're getting close. And since we can't see him, who's around us? People. So now it forces you to be a lot more diligent about the energy. You hear this is a constant theme when it comes to energy. You got to be a lot more because you're going to be going against the wind. So you need some soldiers who got their parachutes on, they got their hard boots that stick into the ground that can withstand the wind and that are willing to withstand the wind. Because they see the treasures over there and they know there's a wind coming. But man, if we just stay here and there's power in numbers, we stay locked up together and we move toward, once we get here, it's open. They can't do nothing. We've done opened the box. Now all the good fortune is raining down. Now all you have to do now is protect the energy around you now that you've gotten through the wind and you've taken off. Once you've gotten through it and taken off, what do you do? Flight attendant, you have reached the cruising altitude.
Cruise. Yep. Cruise.
The turbulence is up through, getting through the crowds. Getting all through there. Getting all up. Then you reach cruising altitude. Then what happens, flight attendant? Now we can get drinks, we get refreshments. You can get about your seat. You can move about the cabin. You can go talk to, you know what I'm saying? If you're a single male, you saw a cute girl in row 3 and you in row 22, you can kind of act like you're going to the bathroom, talk to girl in row 3 a little bit. You have the cruising altitude now. You're chilling now. You just got to withstand the wind, get the cruising altitude. Stay on the path.
Absolutely.
I want the knife. And stay on the path.
And here, the good point that you talked about. So when you're saying the plane is taking off, right? And it's going against the wind, what is it doing? Taking off. Catch that. So when you're going against the wind, that means you're about to take off. So bills can't be paid, went through a breakup, might have lost your job, illness in your body, people just coming at you, trying to rob you for your time. Spirit. And you got to tell them to stay in their space. Your head start just giving you all these negative thoughts, and you got to tell it to just shut up. That's the time that you're going against the wind. But if it's any words I can remind you to remember, Henry Ford knew it. It was for us to get it. You're actually taking off.
Taking off.
You're actually taking off. So if things are tough right now, the airplane takes off against the wind because you're about to take off. Guys, I want to bring this up. I don't know if y'all know. Escape ex-police chief recapture 1.5 miles from his Arkansas prison. Now, we haven't spoke on this, Aunt Wow. This was a man who was already a cop. He escaped from prison by himself. Very smart guy. Very smart guy. This is separate from the New Orleans breakout, but let me read this to you guys. The former Arkansas police chief who escaped prison while serving a 30-year sentence for MURDER and RAPE has been recaptured after nearly 2 weeks on the run, authority says. Grant Harden was captured by law enforcement officials Friday afternoon, approximately 1.5 miles west of the northern Arkansas prison he had escaped from, according to the Izard County Sheriff Office. His identity was confirmed by the fingerprint analysis, the sheriff's office said. I am so happy about this Harding 56 escape the Calico Rock North Central Unit to Izard County on May 25th after donning a uniform and impersonating a correction officer. The video is so clear. And being allowed to walk through a Sally Port pulling a cart. I mean, if you see the video, it's unbelievable. And I was really worried about him being loose because him having prior background in law enforcement, he was very smart.
Right.
It looks like the New Orleans guys are still going. I
Hmm.
don't know what happened, but thank God people are safe in that area and he's been caught and put him back where he need to go. Guys, anyway, and wow, anything to say before we wrap up?
July 26th,
Yes.
2025, 8 p.m. The Space, Las Vegas, Nevada. Buckle your seats belts. Lisa Renee is bringing the thunder. My job is to help facilitate it with the rain. Very dope, awesome show, very moving. Go get your tickets, stream it, do what you got to do, be a part of it, witness history, follow the movement, and get barred up.
Because we're about to take off. See you guys next week, and thank you so much for joining us. Bye, y'all. Bye.